Hey guys, Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys. Back with another One Piece video for you guys. But I'm not talking about the anime. I know I'm gonna be, as of this recording, 3 episodes behind in terms of the anime. So you guys will be getting a triple episode review when it comes to the One Piece anime. I know with what's currently going on in Egghead, but I needed to talk about this because this is One Piece stuff right here, and it's got something to, and it's got, to do with the One Piece season 2 live action trailer. It dropped today. Now, I was actually working at my job because we had a baseball game going on, and I'm just basically kind of sitting in a break room, and I see on social media that the season 2 trailer essentially came out, right? So I know about that and everything. So yeah, but essentially the One Piece season 2 live action show is coming out next year. They still have yet to say when it is coming out. At the end of this trailer, it still says coming out in 2026, right? So we don't know when in 2026 is this show, is the second season going to drop. But yes, but we did get a teaser, I know, at the Netflix Tudum event, and that's what showed Chopper. Also too, just for background information, this office video is edited, but I'm gonna be showing the images, not gonna be showing the video or like clips or videos of the trailer, mostly because I do not want to get like copyright stricken or anything. So I think photos at least are good enough to put up. Hopefully I don't get any, strikes or copyright, stuff that, makes it to where the video has to be slightly edited to where it's just gonna probably just go back and just unedited the video, and just make it to whereas if I'm able to just you would see me right now. But we did see obviously a teaser, and that is of Chopper, and he actually talked and stuff like that. So yeah, but regardless, the season 2 live action trailer dropped. I believe it, I guess if you want to consider it, if you want it, well, it's called on Netflix, season 2 first look, but it is still a trailer. It's kind of like it's trailer number 1, official trailer number 1. So yeah, but essentially what's going to happen is, again, like I said, I'm going to put up the images of the screen of the scenes that I'm talking about and kind of somewhat break it down a bit and things like that, kind of do anything. But obviously if you're a One Piece fan, you basically know some of the moments that they highlight, that I'm going to highlight in this. But if you're also brand new to the One Piece and you're watching One Piece through the live action, show, then it's something new to see. But I will say, I do love the One Piece live action show. I know I did, like, I believe episode 1 of the One Piece in terms of a review of the One Piece live action show. I just never got around to doing the other shows. I think honestly, as the year starts to wind down, and I think if anything, at the start of 2026, I will go back, rewatch all of the One Piece live action episodes, and then essentially review them one by one like they were initially intended, that I had as the plan. So look forward to that, right? Probably should have did those reviews during the time when the anime was on hiatus, essentially, right? But that's the thing, right? But the live action show, for what I see of other people, it's from what we see here, basically season 2 is going to cover basically from the Logtown arc, all the way to, I think, around Drum Island, early as they arrive at Alabasta. And we already got confirmation that the live action show has been renewed for a season 3. So more than likely season 3 will probably cover everything that has to do with the Alabasta arc, and things like that. Now, again, I could very much be wrong. We could have maybe the first few bits of episodes cover the Alabasta arc, and then the next half of the episodes of season 3 covers Skypiea, for all we know. I don't know. But I fully expect the live action show to rearrange some things again, maybe have some slight differences as opposed to the original manga and the anime. Because I know in season one there were differences, as opposed to the manga and the anime, of how events portrayed, from the original source, right? Again, obviously, some differences in how things go and stuff like that. But yeah. But anyways, the first part of the trailer, as we start off the trailer, we basically have it to where we see the Going Merry essentially approaching, um Reverse Mountain, aka the Red Line, but Reverse Mountain. And obviously, this is going to probably take place after the Logtown portion of the live action show. Again, if you remember, Reverse Mountain is how the Straw Hats ended up getting to go to, the Grand Line, because that was the next step of their journey, right? So, you see at the Reverse Mountain point, and everything. You do see a few cuts of cities, or of Logtown again, and then obviously them going through a grassy jungle area, which I think is more than likely Little Garden, right? So then one of the next shots, big shots in the trailers, is you see them obviously sailing, to Whiskey Peak. And if you remember with Whiskey Peak, that kind of kicked off the, Alabasta arc, or the Alabasta Saga. And the Whiskey Peak arc was when it was one of the first islands, if not the first island they got to in the Grand Line. And if you remember, they basically kind of chilled there for a bit, and it was kind of like a party town. You kind of see it, where they're walking through it in the trailer, like this, like, deserty town. And then I'm guessing it looks like they've got like a carnival thing going on too, as well. But if you remember, Whiskey Peak was when they get there, and that kind of kicks off the Baroque works type of stuff, and you get introduced to, obviously Vivi and the others and stuff like that, in terms of Baroque works agents and things like that. So yeah, and I'll talk about that in a second. Then you give this other shot where Luffy's looking at this, platform, and I'm just looking at it right now. My best case is this must be the platform that Gold Roger obviously got executed in, because remember, in Logtown, Luffy did go visit the site where Roger did get executed, the podium area, right? Now we obviously do know, like, a difference in the live action version. We saw that Garp was actually present at, Garp was actually present at, the, what is it? My goodness, the execution of Roger, right? And which was completely different from the anime and manga version. He was not even completely there, right? And again, when I even do my reviews, like Garp, with the fact that he was involved in the East Blue Saga, it was completely different than how they did it in the manga and the anime. Like, Garp didn't really show up till like legitimately till like after freaking the Ennis Lobby arc. Like, that's when he showed up. From when, that was his first appearance in the series. So it's cool to see that scene. And then continuing to look at the trailer, this is when you then get introduced to obviously one of the more well-known, moments in One Piece, because Usopp and Nami, they're just like, wait, what's that? And you obviously see everything shaking, and then Nami looks up, obviously played by Emily Rudd, who's just great as Nami. I still love that casting, because mostly she is a One Piece fan. So if Emily Rudd is watching this video by chance, hey, listen, you and the other, cast members do a great job. She's probably my favorite character out of the bunch. My favorite actor out of all of them. They're all good, right? But she's probably my favorite, mostly because she is a die-hard One Piece fan. Like, the fact that her favorite character was Nami, and she actually gets to play the role of Nami. Talk about perfect cast choice, right? But anyways, never mind. Again, like I said, if Emily Rudd sees this, good job. I love the work you do, on the show, and I can't wait to see, you do a lot more. I legitimately gonna rewatch the show just for Emily Rudd. I know I'm kind of simping, but whatever. Anyways, um, you get one of the moments, and this is in regards to Little Garden, where you see, I believe this is Broggy, and Broggy's just standing, and looking down at Nami. So obviously, this is the part in Little Garden, right? This is gonna be the part in Little Garden, and things like that. So it's gonna be cool to see that. Then the next scene you get is you see Nico Robin, right? And I'm gonna Google the actress's name, right? Hold on, let me pull this up. One Piece. Season 2 Robin. Yeah, so Robin appears, and she's gonna be played by Lara. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. Albulva. And she just looks good as Robin. She looks good. She's obviously got the short hair, the short pre-time skip hair that Robin has, with the cowboy hat and that cowboy design she has, which is absolutely crazy. You see the flower petals, around her, because obviously that signifies her devil fruit ability, the Hana Hana no Mi. And actually, even before you see the close-up look on her face, mind you, also, she looks good as Robin. Like, she looks good as Robin, right? But if you cut a little bit before it, and you would have to actually slow down the trailer, when the doors open, you see the flower petals going through. If you slow it down, the video's fast enough. And I'm gonna zoom this in on the video after I edit, once I edit this and everything. But you clearly see in the left-hand corner of this image, or of the scene, you see a statue of Sengoku, like a head statue of Sengoku. Yes, Sengoku from the Navy, who at this point in time in the story is basically the supreme commander of the Navy, right? And everything, basically the head captain, right? Which is crazy that they already did that. So is that a potential hint at some point? Maybe we get a Sengoku, reveal of who's playing Sengoku. I feel like it's either that, or more than likely it's probably just an Easter egg, which then this just goes to show you that Robin is clearly raiding a Navy base, because why would there be a head statue of Sengoku sitting in some building, right? She's more than likely raiding a Navy base, right? So there's that. Then you get another scene here when in regards to Logtown, and you see Smoker. You see Smoker. So Smoker is here. Yes, they do the same thing like the manga and the anime. The actor that is playing Smoker, again, apologies for not having the actor's names up, but the guy playing Smoker, he's got not one cigar, he's got 2 cigars in his mouth. Jeez Louise, my goodness. Now, again, for background information, Smoker is kind of basically the main antagonist, or the main kind of stopping force in the Logtown arc that becomes an issue for Luffy. And basically, he does have devil fruit powers himself, which is basically the smoke fruit. And he can basically, we know he's a Logia type devil fruit user, and he can turn essentially his body into smoke, and it gave Luffy, obviously a lot of problems. Like, obviously now, like today, Luffy, where he's currently at in the anime, like he could handle Smoker like easy as that, especially with hockey and everything and stuff like that. But that's like far down to the future. But it is cool to see Smoker. He looks pretty identical to the Smoker from the anime and the manga. We do see a scene where Luffy's jumping around in the jungle and Sanji's looking around in the jungle, right? And that's probably something to do with Little Garden. And then this is when we get one of our first images of Vivi, right? And let me pull up her actress's name. So season 2, Vivi. And she's going to be played by again, apologies if I am butchering this name, Charitra Chandran. She's gonna be she's essentially Vivi, but Vivi's code name, because if you remember, Vivi infiltrated Baroque Works to find out what Crocodile's true plan was, but we know she's Miss Wednesday, right, in this form, with the green jacket, the white shorts, and then I guess the freaking trippy like shirt, which you see in the trailer. That's what she's wearing. So yeah, now this has obviously created some discourse in clearly online, about the actress that is playing Vivi, and this is probably going to be my only rant point of the video and stuff like that. But this is a positive rant. Now, the thing that's coming up that people are just like shocked and stunned by is the fact that Vivi skin color is different as opposed to the anime and the manga, morely the anime. Now, in the anime, she had the color of a Caucasian woman, right? Regular white girl. But in the live action show, she's obviously got darker skin, and I think the actress is a woman of Indian descent, right? And clearly, because we live in this community that, you know, has fucking issues and just can't get over certain things. You know, I made a mention, if you watch my Fantastic Four review, right? You know, with Fantastic Four First Steps, there were legitimately people complaining about the Silver Surfer being a fucking woman. And they're saying, that's not Norrin Rad. That's freaking a girl. You gender bent the Silver Surfer. Even though in the fucking comics, there is a female Silver Surfer, which the movie portrayed her in to be that comic accurate female Silver Surfer, which was Shala Ball. People threw a hissy fit and they go this, oh, Disney and Marvel again is being fucking woke again. Oh my goodness, it's such a disgrace to see. And obviously people today, when they revealed what Vivi looks like, you obviously have your dumbasses and your straight up idiots that have a fucking problem with it, even though you shouldn't have a fucking problem with it. You people are just complaining to fucking complain because, oh, it's not how they did it in the manga and the anime. In the anime, she didn't have dark skin. She was a white girl. Listen now. Number one, you haven't seen Charitra Chandra, you know, perform and act in the role of Vivi. We don't know how her Vivi is going to be. That's number one. Point number two is, I can see why the live action, or point number two, truly, Oda approves, because people need to understand and know, Oda works with the live action crew. He is working with the live action show. He actually travels to these sets and he works with the other people working on the show. And they basically, the show writers and the directors, they go to him and basically they say, hey, what's your thoughts on maybe if we cast this person for the role and things like that. And he essentially overlooks it, signs off it, gives the check mark, say, yeah, go right ahead. That's good. That's fine. Right? And he gives the approval. So this decision to make her Vivi, this is coming from everybody's favorite author, Ichiro Oda. So if you're going to be upset at the casting, be upset at Oda. Oh, wait, you guys won't do that because to you guys, to these certain One Piece fans, Oda is a god to them. They can't criticize Oda. Well, if you have an issue with the casting, don't blame Netflix, blame Oda then. Call Oda out, say, I don't like the fact that he did this. So that's point number two. Point number three is the fact that is this. Look, Alabasta basically is essentially what you would say an Egyptian sea, or if you want to say something similar to that of like India, one of the two, because those are most synonymous with having like desert-like areas and things like that. I morally say it caters kind of more to that of Egypt than India, but I guess you can say it's kind of maybe a mixture of both, right? But personally, I say more. Alabasta is more of a take of an Egyptian city, like of Egypt, right, in the One Piece world. So, if that's the case, well, look, man, they're kind of doing the whole thing of okay, you know, because Alabasta is kind of like a take on Egypt. We're gonna kind of have a race that kind of ties to the people of Egyptian heritage, culture, and things like that. Because that's the thing. Like, look at the Straw Hats. All the Straw Hats, and that's the one thing I kind of like about the live action show. All the Straw Hats have different type of races. When it comes to thing. When it comes to thing, obviously Nami is a regular, like, kind of American Caucasian woman. Usopp is obviously, you see, is a African American. Sanji is kind of like an Italian type of individual, right? That's kind of what the actor kind of plays it off. Zoro is somebody of Asian descent, and we especially know when you get to Wano arc, clearly he's got bloodline ties to the Wano people from Wano, so it makes most sense with the fact that the Wano arc has samurais. You would think like that'd be kind of like it's basically feudal Japan. Makes sense why it's kind of like, the dude who's playing Zoro is kind of like a Japanese Asian dude. And then obviously, Luffy, albeit we don't really understand what his race is in the anime, right? Or what you could consider him. But, they have Inike Godoy, who I think is Brazilian. He's kind of like a Brazilian Latino actor, right? So it's kind of something like that, right? They're introducing like different types of freaking races and stuff like that. And the fact that people are blowing up about the casting of the way Vivi is, and the fact that they look, she looks not like what the anime looks like. Dog, why is this big blow up? Like, it's just people overreacting and being critical for no fucking reason. And they think immediately, oh shit, the live action's fucking ruined because you changed Vivi's skin color. Ninja, just go look up the heritage, or go look up the facts. It's clear Alabasta is basically kind of the One Piece version of Egypt. People in Egypt have darker skin. I've been to Egypt, mind you. I've been to Egypt before in my life. So I can say that people in Egypt, they do have dark skin. And the fact that people are blowing this up out of proportion, and people legitimately are doing this shit, like, it's stupid. And again, I don't mean to call the guy out or anything. I personally don't watch the guy's videos like I used to, because just to me, his videos, I feel like can get kind of clickbaity and stuff like that. And I just think it's just like this weird thing. But Chibi Reviews, like on his social media account, he not only commented on like this, because one of these I think it was like Screen Time or whatever, tweets like, hey, what's your thoughts on Vivi? This is Nefeltari Vivi, right? And he's like, and I think he made like a tweet saying like, yeah. And then he ended up on it retweeting that and quote tweeting it saying like, hey guys, what's your thoughts on frickin' Vivi? And I think you can clearly tell, again, unless he makes like a breakdown video of himself breaking down the live action trailer, just from the way he tweeted those two tweets, it sounds like Chibi Reviews does not like the casting choice of Vivi, which he has a big freaking community on his channel, and because of it, most people have reacted negatively to it, and I feel like he's only encouraging that and not giving this actress a fair shot. Now, I may be completely wrong with what I'm implying, and that may not be what he thinks, but it just came off to me like, bro, you're doom posting, you're not giving this actress a chance, and you're not giving the fact that maybe One Piece did something different. You know, we're just gonna judge because, oh, she's of difference. She's of a different race. She's not a regular white Caucasian woman like we saw in the anime. She's got a different ethnicity, or she has it's a different race being played as the character. Like, and the crazy part is this is blowing up now when they announced who, you know, the Vivi's going, what Vivi's going to look like, the actress that is portraying her, right? And I didn't see as many people blow up at then, right? But we see a trailer and we see Vivi, people are like, what the fuck? Which means it's more than likely the internet people that, you know, this is their first time seeing it. They, for whatever reason, didn't look into the fact like, oh no, a woman of a different race is actually playing Vivi. Because I remember when they first announced that casting, there was not much of a blow up about it, right? Not much of a blow up. But today, when the trailer's revealed and people are seeing Vivi for the first time in live action form, people are like, who the fuck? Why would they fucking do this? And I feel like Chibi Reviews plays, again, from what his tweets imply, is playing to that stereotype of these fans who are watching the One Piece anime, are reading the manga, they're like, the fuck is this choice of casting? Then that's why I said as point number 2, blame Oda for the casting. But people like Chibi Reviews, if he came across in his tweets like that, or other One Piece fans won't feel like that, because they don't want to freaking slander or hate on their Lord and Savior of One Piece, who in their opinion is the best author of all of Shonen. They won't do that because they don't want to hate One Piece. So let's give this actress a chance. I think she's going to do great. I think she's going to kill it. I think she's going to be a great Vivi. And if anything, the show has shown you that they're having differences of races and things like that. Diversity. That's the thing, especially about One Piece. There's diversity all over the place. It's absolutely funny, right? How in the One Piece world, we see discrimination happen, especially to other races, and the next thing you know, you turn it fucking around in live fucking action form because it's not the way, you know, a character or an actress looks like in the anime. We're gonna be freaking, I'm not going to say racist, but you're gonna discriminate her because, oh, she doesn't look like my Vivi from the anime. There are people out there that do it. Go look up the tweets. So, aka, you're no better than the fucking Celestial Dragons or all these other people in One Piece that are evil to the fucking core and discriminate. Because, oh, you don't like the fact of the way the casting choice of Vivi. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to start no beef with Chibi Reviews or anything. Like, he could watch this video, hear my soliloquy, and maybe disagree with what my points are. Again, I'm only implying based on the tweets I saw on social media. It sounds like he's not a fan of the casting choice, and he's not a fan of the fact that this doesn't look identical to the anime/manga Vivi. All I'm saying is, give it a chance. Let's give this actress a chance. Let's see how she does. If it comes off weird, then okay, maybe that's a bad casting. I think she's gonna kill it because clearly they find people that are passionate about doing it. I've liked all the casting choices, right? You know, so like, I see no issue with anything that we've seen, right? I've seen no issue with anything. Nojiko was straight up fucking black, but you know, nobody had an issue with that. Huh. So, you know, whatever, man. It's just people nowadays, they just have issues with the tiniest things, and it's one of those things that people have an issue with. So yeah, sorry to dwell on that point for so long, but I just needed to get that off my chest because I was going through the comments on those posts and stuff like that when in regards to the Vivi, you know, in reveal. You just had some disingenuous people that are just like, bro, who the fuck? Well, if you don't like it, don't fucking watch. You can not watch and stop watching the live action One Piece. But I already know you're gonna fucking watch it because it's one of your favorite series. So shut the fuck up, watch the fucking show, and deal with the fact that they casted it. And it's fucking Oda that made the decision to give the role to these people. The One Piece, this main Straw Hat crew did say they got calls from Oda individually, basically saying you got the role. And they all thanked him for it. So if you want to get mad at anybody else, don't get mad at Netflix. Even though Netflix is a scummy fucking company, right? Blame fucking Oda if you don't like the casting choice of Vivi. But you see that, you see her basically on the Going Merry. So clearly that's when she's having her first confrontation with the Straw Hats. Then the next few scenes, you just have it to where you see the Straw Hats taking out some dudes, which I'm guessing it's the Baroque Works agents. Yeah, the Baroque Works agents from Whiskey Peak. But now actually looking at it, I'm seeing a part where Nami's getting involved, and we actually see Alvida. I'm just actually seeing this now, and you see Alvida, and this is her skinny, self look, right? Because remember, she got skinny after eating the slick slick fruit or whatever it was called, the fruit that basically slimmed her down and got her skinny. So it looks like Nami is gonna be fighting Alvida, which would be different, especially if from what it looks like, it's taking place in Whiskey Peak, which is another interesting change because that's the thing. Now, unless this is actually, Logtown, more than likely, it's probably Logtown. It's got like a carnival type setting, right? So it's probably Logtown, and it, I guess, makes the carnival setting means that they're gonna bring obviously the dude who plays Buggy back, and they got the teamwork, scene where they're working together to try to take down the Straw Hats, right? So that's kind of the thing there, right? So yeah. And then as the trailer's ending off, you see Luffy using Gum Gum Gatling, and everything. And then basically you just have it to where they're obviously going down, Reverse Mountain, through obviously, the upstream and down into the Grand Line. And then the last bit of it, you see Laboon the whale, and obviously if you remember Reverse Mountain and that arc, you obviously had Crocus, looking over Laboon, and you don't see fully Laboon, right? But you do see, the forehead with the scar and everything, and you do see a bit of the whale. You don't see it fully, so it's gonna be interesting to see how obviously Laboon fully looks when you get a good look at it in the live action. Right, I won't be shocked if it looks a little janky, but it is what it is, right? Excuse me, oh boy. But what am I saying? Because I know they, even when they did the sea monsters, in the live action, it looked really freaking good, right? So I would say that Laboon's gonna look good. But you just have it to where they're flowing in and he shows up, and then his mouth is wide open like he's about to eat the Going Merry. But you basically get the logo where it says One Piece into the Grand Line, and then at the end, they basically confirm that season 3 is coming. Makes the most sense because, again, like I said, season 2 is going to be covering basically from Logtown up until around Drum Island, and then basically, maybe at least a small tiny hint, if not a hint, to Alabasta. I can completely, obviously, because in the first season we stopped after Arlong Park. We ended it off as they were going to Logtown, right? So season 2 is going to basically cover the Logtown arc. It's going to cover the Reverse Mountain stuff. It's going to cover Little Garden, and then it's obviously going to not Little Garden, Whiskey Peak after Reverse Mountain, then Little Garden, and then Drum Island, and then we'll probably get a tease for season 3, with them probably about to approach Alabasta, right? So there's that. Now again, they did not confirm when season 2 is going to be coming out. It still says coming out in 2026. You would think they would have already released, this is when this show is going to be coming out. I feel like it's going to probably come out either the spring or summertime, more than likely. I feel like it's going to be one of those parts in 2026. It's going to come out in then, either in the spring or more than likely the summertime. Probably the summertime to get a lot of eyes on it, and because everybody's gonna be out of school, you know, and that gives the most chance for fans to just watch because you have the most free time in the summertime. And basically, they'll drop all those episodes for season 2. You can binge the show in the summertime, and it's gonna get good views and everything. And I think, you know, it is gonna do it. And then who knows? For all we know, like they could be shooting, you know, or filming season 3 as we know it as well, right? You know, so that's the thing, and that's when I believe, you know, season 3 will cover the Alabasta arc. Again, I don't know if it will cover anything after that, like obviously the lead up to Skypiea, but you get my point. I will say it's gonna be interesting to see how long they will continue to go with this. Like, I don't know how long like they're gonna decide to continue doing the live action One Piece show because number one, the actors that are playing the Straw Hats, they're going to get older as the years go by. So it's kind of like you gotta make your decision if you're gonna start filming, you know, if you're gonna do another season, because that kind of would mean like, you know, you might have to start filming like now. So because, you know, obviously the author is going to get older, right? So it's not, it's like, and we already know, like they're portraying characters that are basically around the ages of like, you know, 17 to 19 as the oldest, right? You know, like around that age range, like, so like, you know, late teenage years are, you know, and basically early adult or young adult years, right? So I don't know. You know, I don't know. I was talking with my boy, you know, off camera when I was driving home from work about it, and you know, I feel like maybe they'll just, you know, do a few more seasons. I honestly think they'll just go up to maybe like the final part of the pre-time skip stuff, which is Sabari Archipelago, and then they'll obviously end it off with like Luffy after the 2-year time skip and everything, and then that's will be like, okay, that's it. You know, you can watch the fucking anime or read the manga from this point on, even though we changed some things and things are different and stuff like that. That's what we're going to do. So, yeah, I feel like that's what they might be going. I would be shocked if they're going to be like, oh, frick, we'll do it all. But I just don't see that happening. Like, if they're going to want to do a post-time skip arc, I think the only arc they could do legitimately is probably Fishman Island. And then that's it, right? At least, you know, give, you know, the live action characters like their post-time skip designs of how they all look and shit like that. And that would be cool. And at that point, all the Stray members, with the exception of Jinbei, I know, would be already right then and there. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. That was just my thoughts on the trailer breakdown a bit. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more One Piece content or things like that, or other content I upload to the channel and stuff like that. Again, like I said, I'll look to get back into reviewing the live action show again, so then I can get caught up and, you know, rewatch it and get, you know, excited for the hype of season 2. Because, you know, look, man, we're in August now, so we only got September this month. So, yeah, August, September, October, November, December. We got 5 more months and the year's over, and next thing you know, it's 2026, man. I still remember at the start. Start of 2025, bro. I still remember the start of 2025, and we're already in August, man. Dog, days go by fast. The year goes by fast, man. So, you know, it's crazy. We're already gonna be in 2026 in 5 months. Frick. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit that subscribe button about, you know, anything to do with One Piece or any other stuff I post on the channel and things like that. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Catch you guys in the next video. See you guys later and have a great rest of your day. Till then, guys, peace.